All right, let's talk about Dolphins' first-round pick, interior defensive lineman Kenneth Grant. Was very fascinating seeing how he would play in the preseason. So yeah, let's just get into it. We'll start off with this play. You see, that's where he is on the field. And one thing he's going to really show off on this play is something we saw a lot in college of just his strength. I'll start and very quickly pause this. Right here you see how he is going to create contact with this offensive lineman he's going up against. But then watch him really drive that offensive lineman back, essentially pushing the line of scrimmage a yard back on that side of the field. Again, nothing crazy there in terms of how this is impacting the play, but just goes to show how strong he is, right? It shows one of his clear traits. Also, not to mention, really good motor there, right? Gets off of that, still finds a way to help out, make that tackle. So always like to see that. Always like to see a guy who's going to have a high compete level and, showing that as well. So a couple nice things right off the bat for Kenneth Grant. Now, he had his fair share of L's here in this first preseason, which is going to happen, right? Just for one thing, life of an interior defensive lineman is you don't, you win as much as you would love. Like, this is a pass rush play. If you can win 10% of the time, you'll take that. That's just kind of how the position works. Nonetheless, though, when this play begins, he's going to try and use his power to drive the guard back and does a decent job at it, but ultimately, you just have to go so quick if you're going to really impact the play, just overpowering a guard, right? This just didn't happen. So ultimately, not able to generate really any pressure, not able to disrupt the quarterback. I will say, going to do another nice thing here, though, Grant is. Watch him put his arm up. Doesn't hit the ball, but again, still something you like to see, right? The high compete level. The Dolphins have had soft allegations thrown their way in the past. So having a guy who certainly is not going to be that, someone who's going to compete at a high level, is what you like to see. Like, again, this one being another one where you see where he is on this play. It's actually going to be the tackle who's going to be blocking him one-on-one here. Watch as it begins. You see right here. So, the tackle's doing a pretty good job at keeping Grant away from the top of the screen, which is where the halfback is going towards. However, the halfback has been massively slowed down by one of kind of Grant's teammates. So, hey, run defense is very much a team sport. You want to have, guys who can come through. But again, watch Grant keep fighting. He eventually gets free of that tackle, and honestly, I think played it out longer than the tackle did. And because of that, he was able to still get there and get to the running back. It's a small play, but you know what? These things really do matter. Heading over to this next one, I do think that, think about him and Mason Graham, two players who were kind of compared to each other a bit, right, for obvious reasons. Mason Graham was the first interior defensive lineman taken. He was taken 5th overall by the Browns. And despite the fact that they both went to the same college, and Grant is 20 pounds heavier, the main reason that people liked Graham more was because of his technique. You definitely see that a little bit with Grant here. Like this play, for example, going up one-on-one against the left guard, and watch what happens. Again, you're going to see not really any much of a move here, not really getting his hands involved. At this point, hasn't done much of anything. You want to see more than that on a play like this. You just do. And I think that's kind of one of the knocks, especially in pass rush, is he doesn't always have, he needs to develop more moves, basically. And that's okay. He's a rookie. You don't expect him to be fully polished right away. You expect him to come in and, play some meaningful reps, perhaps, but, it's okay if you're not perfect right away. But I will say, we did see some flashes of him getting his hands involved, and he looks awesome when he does that. Like this play, for example, once again, left guard going up against him one-on-one. And when it begins, you're going to see that right here. So what Grant is doing is he's going to get his he's going to get his right hand essentially and unattach it to the Bears player. He's going to just let go, and then with Grant's left hand, he's going to push the guard a little bit towards the top of the screen. Grant will then get his right arm and put it kind of under the offensive lineman's right arm. Watch how he does that, and once he gets the hand placement off, it's over. I mean, credit to the quarterback for getting around his pressure, although he couldn't get around every pressure. Still, had a pressure and helped lead to the sack there is what Kenneth Grant was able to accomplish. But still, that's just an impressive play. And so I'd like to see more of that, but man, when he gets his hands involved, it really is impressive. And that's why I think I'm actually pretty optimistic about what he was able to do in his first preseason game. But yeah, that's kind of what I think about all this. Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Also, I'll just mention at the end of this that I do have a movie channel as well. If you want to hear my thoughts on movies, like I have a review of Weapons, a review of Sinners, some other stuff, you can check that out. The link is in the description below. But yeah, That's it. Bye.